Show coming at you here from the ATX with the Box to Box Radio podcast. My name is Mason Carmichael. To my right, Mr. Travis Carmichael. To my left, Mr. Travis A-Day like Mayday. Across from me, wearing his bright blue Adidas branded t-shirt.
Blue is a color. Football is a game.
Mr. Crystal Ball Hernandez.
Sick dance moves, Chris.
We call him Crystal Ball because he's got all the fire predictions like your Hudson Odoi takes and as bold as your Hudson Odoi takes. So, guys, welcome
Very
all of you.
one-dimensional.
Yeah, welcome all of you guys to the Box to Box Radio podcast. If you like the song in the intro, we got a new music partnership. We're currently working with Sincerely Yours Music. They just released an album called Golden Age on Spotify and iTunes, a local Austin band here. That, of course, was Dream Girl off their album Golden Age. Guys, go give it a listen. Great stuff, great music from them. And, of course, if you are an aspiring artist or business person and you want to get your name out there, please, please, please shoot us a tweet, an email, a DM, whatever you want to. We want to help promote you on the show. We may not have much influence yet, but we're working on it, and we just want to share in that success and that praise with you guys and get your stuff out there to our listeners. So you guys can get at us, as always, on Twitter at B_radio. Instagram is box_radio. Facebook, really, really easy to remember. It's Box to Box Radio. Just search that on Facebook. And, of course, the easiest way to reach us is 90min at boxtoboxradio.com. That is our email. Guys, easiest way to listen, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and then you can listen to us on YouTube. No video up yet, but we're working on it here. The only videos you guys are going to get are on our Instagram page. Winking at Chris right now because he's taking an Instagram video of the beginning of this pod. But guys, I'm glad to be back in the studio after a long, relaxing, restful weekend. How was the weekend for you guys?
Yeah, it was great. A lot of games on, a lot of games that we normally don't get to see on. So we're excited and we're going to dive into it.
I'm ready to recap good night of MLS midweek matches.
Ooh, yeah, it was good.
He's on brand.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
A-Day is the biggest MLS stan that I've ever met in my entire life. Like this guy, he's from Oklahoma. So like there's no local MLS team for him. He would drive the 4 to 6 hours?
It was 3 hours.
3 hours to come to Dallas to watch games. Like this dude's nuts. But he's our nutball, so
That's why I'm here.
Y'all can't
We
have
penned
it.
him. We inked him.
Yeah, now he drives almost an hour to come and do this podcast twice a week.
And my lovely wife allows me to do that.
Shout out
God
to Katie
bless her.
A-Day for
Saint.
for letting him go. What I've heard through the grapevine, future current LAFC supporter Katie A-Day.
She's breaking my heart, guys. She got one glimpse of the LAFC documentary on ESPN Plus.
Gold, by the way.
She probably just saw Carlos Vela's hair and was smitten.
No, she's actually a huge Tyler Miller fan.
Who isn't?
Yeah, I know.
Dude's gorgeous.
I know. Great guy, with all his cancer charity and everything.
Yeah. it's a
Anyway,
good dude.
but yeah, she took my heart and ripped it threw it on the ground and said,
"Aw,
I'm not a Dallas fan anymore." So,
Jeez. Wow. Well, at least we got the song Dream Girl by Sincerely Yours to comfort us, and we can imagine in our heads that all of our dream girls are FC Dallas fans, guys. So, sorry, Hannah Bruce. I know you're not an FC Dallas fan. That was for the bit. But, ladies and gentlemen, we want to talk to you about all things soccer, which means we're not just going to cover your normal, everyday, run-of-the-mill topics that we do on the show. It's a very exciting time of the year. Some might argue it's the most wonderful time of the year, which is not Christmas. It is championship playoffs.
Yes.
English League playoffs. So, Travis Carmichael, big Champo guy. I know that he watches a lot of Champo. Travis, please fill us in. What happened during the Champo playoffs this week?
Yeah, man. So 2 really good games. You have the second leg of West Brom and Aston Villa, and the second leg of Leeds versus Derby County. So the first game that kicked off on Tuesday was West Brom versus Villa at West Brom. It ended 1-0 West Brom on the day and ended up going 2-2 in aggregate. So Villa at the death was just killing the game, throwing everything forward. Chris Brunt actually got sent off in the 80th minute The first tackle and the second tackle, 2 yellows, were both absolutely abysmal. Horrible challenges. He really put his team in a bind. So from the 80th minute on, West Brom played with 10 men. And I'm not kidding when I think they put all 10 men inside the 18 area.
Out of me life football, as Coach Don Gregory used to say for Southwestern.
Championship at its finest. It ended up going to penalties. Villa won the coin toss, and they ended up shooting right behind the goal where their away fans were traveling. About 1,500 Aston Villa supporters. Steer, the goalkeeper for Villa, saved the first 2 penalties. Yeah. Unbelievable. Villa steps up in the 4th round to win it. Guy skies it. West Brom ends up making the rest of them. And to step up 5th, producer Chris, who was it to step up 5th to score the goal? Chelsea man, doesn't know, didn't do his research. It was man on loan from Chelsea, Tammy Abrams.
Ooh.
Stepped up
for the future.
Cool as you like. And just slotted it home and said, come on, the villains. There you are, supporters. Went and celebrated. Unbelievable game. I love the championship. Yeah. So much drama. And it was great, man.
Yeah. What I particularly liked about this game was the fact that Villa were smart. So they knew they were up a man, but they didn't take too many risks, which I know a lot of times you'll see in football that teams will go out, balls to the wall and kind of take as many risks as they can because they have that fallacy of, we're up a man. But I find a lot of times that teams actually subconsciously play better when they're down a man because they know they can't make any mistakes. And so congrats to Villa here for being confident in their guys to go out and win this thing in penalty kicks. And shout out to the Chelsea contingent of Tammy Abram, and John Terry here. Another Chelsea man will be meeting them at Wembley. Travis
Correct.
Carmichael, fill us in on that one.
Yeah, man. So the second leg featured Leeds United versus Derby County. It's unfortunate for Leeds because they had quite a significant lead on the table. They were up in the top 2 for a long time, and then they ended up just dropping into the 3rd spot.
So you're telling me that game against Aston Villa where they kind of threw
was kind of
ball?
important.
Yeah, that's
a little bit important, wasn't
it? Funny thing there.
Yeah, finally, someone agrees with me.
Yeah, a little bit important. No, so Derby is the first team. Derby's the first ever 6th ranked club in the playoff to lose the home game and then go away and qualify to go to Wembley.
It's because of Frankie Lampard and my boy Harry Wilson.
Absolutely. Yeah, so this game ended 4-2 on the day. 4-2 on the day, ended 4-3 on aggregate. Derby County coming into this one down 1-0. The goals got kicked off early. Dallas scored both for Leeds, and then Marriott scored 2 for Derby, as well as Mont and Wilson with a penalty. It was an unbelievable game. Also, 2 red cards in this one. Again, 2 yellow cards. I'm noticing in the championship that the refereeing is very loose. They like to let the boys play.
Yeah, I noticed that in League like One that. Too. Of course, Sunderland getting through today. I watched a little bit of that game, Sunderland versus Portsmouth. And
come on, you Sunderland, you Black Cats, come on.
David Vaughan, about in the 80th minute, was running to challenge a ball that was played long by Portsmouth, and Sunderland defender Brian Oviedo steps in his way. David Vaughan says, "I don't really care. I'm going to elbow you in the back of the neck." And
while already on a yellow.
And guess what? Not even nothing.
It was a foul.
It was a foul. No card.
But it was like, man,
let the boys play, right?
Also, in the same game, I mean, we'll get back to Leeds and Derby in a second, but the good point. Sunderland is going to Wembley. Thanks for the fans on a river where we used to build the boats. Shout out Netflix documentary.
Wow.
There's a 50-50 challenge, and both kind of go over the end there. They're playing Portsmouth, which is another big English club. And both the Sunderland guy and the Portsmouth guy go over and tip into the crowd. And I swear to God, there are like 6 fans that just start like giving him
There's one guy that
and like
kick him in the ribs.
They're kicking him,
and they're screaming at him.
It was O'Ginn.
Yes, it was. He's good, by the way. He's good. He's a young kid.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So he gets up and he tells like, ref, like, what are you going to do about it? And like Cattermole comes over and just looks at the Portsmouth fans, and they're all just giving him the business. Like, I think one guy actually tried to step on the field to come fight him, but they were about 5 feet away, and the stewards had to come separate it. It was nasty, man. It was vicious.
Insane.
But yeah, like I said, Derby's going to Wembley. They beat Leeds. Red card, 2 red card, 1 from each team, 2 yellow cards. 78th minute, Berardi got 1 for Leeds, and then Malone got 1 for Derby County. 2 yellow cards each, but I mean, Leeds eliminated. Derby held on. Absolute mayhem at the end. Lampard running all over the field.
Yeah, they did the "Don't cry, stop crying" Frankie Lampard chant in the locker room afterwards. I thought was
the Leeds fans were giving it to him, and then when they went 4-2 up, he just looks and goes.
Yeah, Travis Ade is a big MLS guy, huge MLS guy, very huge. We're gonna get a DP, and they're gonna pay for it.
Not the Hunt family.
It's God, right in my heart. Travis Ade, big MLS guy, very familiar with the playoff format. Kind of give us a little bit of an insight for those that are listening, maybe across the pond or in another country that don't really get to see playoffs that often. Kind of give us an insight to what the emotions are behind these high stakes games and why playoffs are such a big deal in leagues around the world.
Playoffs, first of all, most exciting part of any sporting event. Doesn't matter where you finish in the table, everyone has a shot at the end of the season. And that's one reason that I like the championship, because they do it this way. Also, because of the style of soccer. It's just hard-nosed. Boys, there were 4 red cards in the 4 semifinal matches.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, so very hard-nosed. And you were saying the refereeing, they let stuff go, but they also, it's a hard league to play in. But yeah, playoffs, it's hard to win back-to-back in 2 legs. And then also go on. They could play in Wembley for, I think, the pot to go to the Prem. It's 170 pounds.
It's 170 million pounds. It's the richest game in football.
Yeah. So it's incredible. Yeah, a lot on the line here, as you see with playoff games all around the world, especially in England. But yeah, playoffs are cool.
So thinking about how much this game is worth and how much the playoffs factor into the excitement of the Champo, if you are Leeds United, what is the fate that befalls Mauro Bielsa?
He's gone. He has to be gone.
Why is that, Trev?
But it's, you're going to spew this, but it's not because of the incident with Villa. It is because as a club, Leeds United have come out and said, we want promotion, and they have thrown money time and time again, money after it. And when you throw money and it doesn't work, it is somebody's fault. And the guy who's at the helm will take the fault.
Yeah.
So we've also seen him, we've seen him come into managerial roles and leave before when it gets difficult and he doesn't succeed. So I think he's going to be gone.
Yeah. And I think that's fair. And I don't think you're right. I think you're right on the fact that I don't think it was, that one game against Villa that cost him his job, because let's say they win that game, they finish the season on 85 points.
Yeah,
they still 4 points behind Sheffield United.
Yeah, they don't catch him.
And so they wouldn't have finished in an auto promotion spot anyway. But I agree with you. He was supposed to be the savior for Leeds United.
Well, he came in saying,
he
I
did well.
want to coach a Champions League team. I want to coach a Champions League team. This is a step, the pathway to moving on to a bigger club.
Yeah.
And he failed.
Yeah, he did. It's true. So I agree with you. I think that, they're probably going to dismiss him coming up here, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think he's gone. Aside from a result standpoint, I do think that Leeds Aston game where he called all his players back, I think he did sort of lose the locker room, and I think that might have been what did it. They limped into the playoffs, and obviously they're out now. So 1, he's gone, and then 2, I think again that was a bad decision from him. And also, I think he might have lost the locker room. You see, in that game, the captain
Jansen, the center back,
just irate at Bielsa and just trying to do anything he can as the one guy in the field that was actually still playing soccer at that time.
Yeah, if I'm not going to speak for you guys, if I played on that team, I empathize with Jansen.
100%.
I understand why. Like, I would have broken that guy's leg to win that ball if I saw my teammates standing around. Like, and that's just me.
So the interesting thing for me when you look at Leeds as a whole is, what does this do to Jack Harrison, who's currently has a contract at City and is on loan? So what does his future look like, you think?
Man, I think it's what happens to a lot of guys that don't come up through the City Academy. They either going to get loaned out again or he's going to go get transferred. I think the move from NYCFC for him was the right one to go over to Europe, but he should not have gone to Manchester City, because I think the position that he was in when he went over, he was not a young guy anymore. He was 20, 21 years old, which in the English game is not that young.
He's still in his
anymore.
young 20s, though, his early 20s.
You look at the other guys like Phil Foden. How old is he?
Yeah. No, I get it from a City standpoint.
Yeah, Zinchenko. How old is he? Right.
But I think it was less he wanted to go to City and more of City had the first dibs to rights on him.
It wasn't the dibs to rights. It was the transfer that made the most sense for City Football Group because, of course, they own NYCFC.
Correct.
And so I think it would have benefited him more to get maybe purchased by a championship team and to stay there for a couple years and then maybe make the big money move over to the Premier League because y'all saw that pass in that first game that he had in the playoffs.
Delightful.
It was phenomenal, but I think he made the wrong decision. And I don't really know how much of the decision was his. Like, if you're a kid that wants to go over to Europe, like, you're going to go to Europe at any chance that you can get. But I think it was the wrong decision to send him to Manchester City. I think there could have been far better options because I know Middlesbrough wanted him on a permanent, but City kind of struck up a deal to send him there on loan for a season.
Also, we're completely looking past it, guys, but there was a lot on the line in this game because earlier in the season, there was Spygate between these two teams.
Oh, yeah.
Leeds United got accused of stealing some footage.
Not accused. Bielsa came out and said he did it. He said, yep. He's like, I did it.
So I think that was extra sweet for Frankie Lampard for the team that cheated against him, trying to spy on him. And
if you think about it, like, he's been one of the only coaches this season that's been able to thwart Leeds' game plan.
That's true.
That's a great testament to the first-year coach, Frank Lampard.
So there has been rumors of Frank Lampard taking the Chelsea job.
I think if he leads Derby to promotion, that's a real rumor. I think that's something that
I think if you lead Derby to promotion, why would you leave Derby? I think if you don't get promoted, then maybe you go take it.
But would that give him enough credibility to be wanted?
Yeah, no, I think whether he wins the last game or not, he's already done his job. I think he's already overachieved greatly.
I disagree with that.
I think he's overachieved greatly.
You have to win the whole thing. I disagree with that.
I don't know about that. So can Super Frank do it? Can he beat Aston Villa? Who do you guys see going through? Trav, who you got?
Yeah, I've got to side with Lampard, John Terry on the trash 11.
Yeah, he was.
I'm not pulling for him. Not a fan of him. So.
Wayne Bridge probably owns a Derby jersey.
Wayne Bridge is the biggest Derby fan on promotion day.
That's fair.
I think Villa gets it done. I think they're too much with Tammy Abrams and Jack Grealish. Super Jack, the captain. I think they're too much for him, and I think Villa finally makes it back up.
I'm not gonna definitively say who I think is gonna win this game, but I think Villa needs to win this game because if they don't, Jack Grealish is gone.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because he's stated the past season and a half he wants to play.
Yeah, you made him the captain. He's a Villa boy through and through from the academy, and
you have to play in the Champions League or in the Premier League next season. If you don't, he's gone.
I agree.
So, and I don't think Derby, like you said, they're kind of playing with house money right now. They're kind of over the line there, but
I would like to see Derby make it back up and see if they can beat their record for most goals conceded in one season. With 89 goals conceded in 34 matches.
Travis Aday's Team Chaos.
Are they going to re-sign Connor Doyle?
They should.
That'd be interesting.
You're talking about former MLS great with the Colorado Rapids
and Derby player,
DC United, and Derby son of David Doyle, the indoor legend for the Dallas Sidekicks.
Dallas Sidekicks.
Connor Doyle.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
Man, that was that was elongated for sure. But
there is a T-shirt floating out there somewhere that says "I scored on Derby County." In reference to that season
for our English
because
listeners,
who didn't score on Derby County?
English listeners, if you can mail us that T-shirt, I would love you forever. Like you could anytime.
I think it's on Who Are You Designs.
I don't care where it's at.
We'll have to do some research.
If someone can get us that T-shirt, email us at 90minute@boxtoboxradio.com. We'll shoot you an address over. Mail us that T-shirt, and there might be something a little bit in it for you. Maybe a T-shirt. Maybe we'll get you something. We'll get you some gear. A signed autograph picture of Travis Carmichael dressed like Gunnersaurus.
Yeah, come on, you Gunnersaurus. Come on.
That would be pretty interesting. But guys, we got to move on. We could talk about Champo all day. We could talk about League One. Also, last point on League One before we move on. American Lyndon Gooch, who's stuck through.
Today.
He played
yep.
and he was great.
He was good.
So he's a guy to keep an eye on. move it up into the championship
Also,
again.
as soon as they won, he runs over to the 1,500 away fans and just kisses the badge. Says, "Come on, you Black Cats, get in."
He's a guy I'd like to see in MLS, but I don't think that'll happen.
Let's leave him.
Soon.
He needs to save the Netflix franchise. Let's leave him.
Jeez.
They need to go up.
Yeah, the gooch. Guys, the next thing I want to talk about on our agenda here today is we preluded to it last week a little bit. The Eredivisie is done. Ajax champions. And they might be knocked out of the Champions League, but they're champions. They had an insane champions kind of, it's not really a parade. It's more of a gathering. It's more insane than Manchester City's was. If y'all haven't seen the video on Ajax's Twitter account of the chant they do for Dusan Tadic, it is phenomenal. It is insane. Dusan Tadic, of course, loved every minute of it. I don't think he's going anywhere. Out of all the speculation of guys leaving for Barcelona or Liverpool or wherever, he's here to stay, I think, at Ajax. I think he might finish his career. He's 30 years old right now. He might finish his career out there. But guys, are we surprised that Ajax ended up winning the championship? Or is it par for the course?
The only surprise is that PSV Eindhoven took him to the last day.
I disagree with that because PSV's been pretty good for the last couple of years.
You're talking about a team that's in the semifinal of the Champions League and a team that is just absolutely stacked. And PSV is very good, but you're talking about, like, I'm surprised they took him to the final day. And like you said, the scenes at the parade were really, really nice. The captain for Ajax,
Matthijs de Ligt.
Yeah, he made an unbelievable speech about, this is how we show the world Ajax football, attacking football, and the man upstairs, referring to obviously Cruyff, would be very proud of us. And that was kind of a really cool moment.
Yeah,
and,
only to say that and then leave to Barcelona. So.
Yeah, but then you also got like Tadic jumping around the stands and the fans saying Tadic is on fire. Yeah, that was great. And he got the flames.
Yeah, he had a career season with Ajax. I mean,
he did.
Let that man celebrate. He was phenomenal. Like, he came in. He played on the left wing. David Neres was very upset about that because
that's great as well.
That's kind of his place, and Huntelaar and Dolberg kind of split the role up top. And then Tadic really came into his own as a number 9 this season, which a lot of us, we've seen him at Southampton, and he was more of a 10 or a winger, and he really had never really played that position to success before, but he was great for Ajax. I thought his name was in pen on the starting 11.
Also, Ziyech confirmed as the Ajax player of the season.
Yeah, I would give it to him too. He was phenomenal.
I think that Ajax winning the league, that they did only scrape by with 3 points, but the fact that they were able to win the league, they did the first domestic double in 17 years in the Dutch league, and they did make it to the Champions League semifinal.
Correct.
I think all those are things to hang their hat on for the season, and I think that might point to a little bit of why they only won by 3 points in the league, but they still did manage to win. So
yeah, and I think they're building blocks now, right? So you look at the benchmark set, and you look at Ten Hag, his team that he built and his team that he kept together and made sustainable. Like, our Ajax has players that are leaving this season. So De Jong and De Ligt and probably Tagliafico are all leaving. But Ziyech might stay. Neres might stay.
Tadic
will stay. Blind will stay.
What about the goalkeepers?
Masraoui, Onana. Yeah,
Onana's very good.
All of those players, Van de Beek, I think will be there for at least one more season. Like, all of these guys are staying around, right? All of these guys will be here. So I think you're losing a couple of your solid cornerstone pieces in your academy, but we've talked about on the show before, Ajax is known for producing good talent. And so those guys that are in the academy are going to get a chance to step up, and they'll bring in foreign talent that they need. I think guys that can make the jump next year. If De Ligt leaves, you have Magallan on the bench, who's an Argentinian guy they signed from Boca Juniors, who played pretty well against Tottenham. Even though they didn't get the result that they wanted there, he looked pretty good. He's a guy that can step up. Joel Veltman, the Dutch international, can step up too. He's a guy that I've always really kind of admired. Was a center back, switched to right back. It seems like it suits him a little bit more. Van de Beek, Lasse Schöne was really, really good. He's a 30-year-old Danish center midfielder that's been pretty good for them. So, guys, I think this Ajax team will be just fine. Congrats to them on their championship. I think they're the European darlings of the season.
Yeah.
Everybody that watched them play has pretty much enjoyed them. Their selflessness, their ability to rally together as a team and to make it about something bigger than themselves, I think is something that we not only as football fans, but as human beings can relate to. That's just a human quality that we like to rally behind and see that, a lot of times it's better to play and live for something bigger than yourself. And this IX team embodied that from day one.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really cool to see the atmosphere outside of the stadium after their last home game. They hadn't won the league yet, but you had a suspicion they were going to. And as the fans come out, every fan got to lead their favorite chant. And you got about 20,000 people standing below the terrace as, they're leading their favorite chant. And whether it's that or whether it's Bob Marley's son coming out and
Ziggy Marley,
and leading them into Three Birds.
Babe, yeah.
Man, that's
I love it.
That's cool, man. Like the atmosphere there is unbelievable, and they've done something truly special, and they're going to lose some kids. But the question is, as a club, can they reload? And I think as the biggest club of all time in Amsterdam, that they can do it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, the biggest question
because every little thing
is going to be all right.
Wow. I'm sorry, keep going. I had to do it. I had to do it.
That's why we can't have nice things.
I had to do it.
Had to do it.
My biggest question is, where does De Ligt end up? Because he's had talks with Barcelona, but
Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly.
Liverpool.
Because why, if you want to be a stalwart in your national team and the other center back right now is Virgil van Dijk and his name is a lock on that Netherlands team, why would you not try and go play and partner your future national team center back partner?
Is he better than Matip right now?
That's something I've been contemplating. Because if you asked me that question,
I mean, fair. A lot of games. Yeah. They're all going to play.
Yeah, if you asked me that question 6 months ago, I would have said yes. But Joel Matip stepped up, man.
So, but also, does that if you bring him, does that allow Van Dijk to take some games off? Because
I don't think you can.
But
he's
going to get older. You have to eventually. You can't keep playing him for 120 games a season.
If you're playing some lower level Premier League teams, you give him a couple games off. Because I think that's the biggest thing we've lacked. Because in all honesty, I think Dejan Lovren's out the door. I think he's going somewhere and I've talked to Travis about this, Travis Carmichael, several times about how he'd be a great guy for Arsenal to pick up.
I mean, he's better than Mustafi, but also
he'd be good in that
both of
back
you idiots
three.
are better than Mustafi.
That's fair. Even when I'd take me with one leg over Mustafi.
Producer Chris is a better center back than Mustafi right now.
Fair enough, man. But I think, if De Ligt comes in, there's definitely going to be competition with Matip, but I think that he's class enough and good enough of a leader to kind of win that job. And then I see Joe Gomez's long-term future as a fullback, maybe in a back three.
But you have Trent, who's better as a fullback.
I know, but we need cover on the right and left side. If Andy Robbo goes down, James Milner's 32. We can't keep having him play left back, and Alberto Moreno has already stated that he's leaving the club in the summer. So
no big loss.
We need a fullback on either side.
So my question is, can Alexander-Arnold eventually play as an 8?
Yeah, that's the thing that they've been talking about too.
I think it's similar to him and Kimmich.
Yeah.
They both could play as 8s.
I'm glad you brought that up because I think that's his natural position. I mean, do you guys know who moved him to fullback?
I do. Do you know, Trav?
It's probably Brendan Rodgers.
Nope. Incorrect.
Steven Gerrard.
Steven Gerrard, when he was the coach of the academy team, he saw his talent and then
I had no clue.
Saw that in order for him to be professional, he might have to move back a little bit because if y'all remember, which you might not, you're not Liverpool junkies like I am, Steven Gerrard started his career as a fullback. He made his first appearance for Liverpool. His first start was at right back.
Oh, wow.
And so he saw Alexander-Arnold and said, hey, in the modern game, if you want to get into the first team, you're going to have to play right back. But if you look at Liverpool's midfield, Henderson's going on 30 here coming in the next couple of years. Milner's 32. Wijnaldum's 27, 28. And so there's going to be room in that midfield for Alexander-Arnold to come in and win a spot. So when that happens, I definitely could see Joe Gomez taking over that right back role. I think he's a good center back. I think he'd be a great fullback for Liverpool.
I disagree. It all depends on how you frame great because I think defensively as a center back, he's very good. As a fullback, he's good. I don't think he attacks enough to be a top level English fullback. I think that was one of the things you saw against Barcelona that got him in trouble is he, and don't get me wrong, I thought he did well, and it's unfair because
just
he came
a little
back
bit too defensive
from a broken leg. But you have to kind of press him in a little bit with Barcelona, and Trent Alexander-Arnold was able to pin them back because he played higher, and Joe Gomez kind of sat in almost like an extra center back.
Which is why I think in all honesty, I think his best position for any team that he plays for, whether it's Liverpool or whether he gets loaned out or sold on, if he could play in a back three as one of those outside center backs, I think that would be the best utilization of his talents.
Liverpool 3-4-3?
No, not going to happen. Klopp loves running that 4-3-3, and if you have the front three of Salah, Firmino, and Mane, and then that midfield three of Fabinho, Henderson, and Wijnaldum, or Milner, or Oxlade-Chamberlain, like Keita, yeah, like you roll with what you got, man.
I've been very impressed with Fabinho as of late.
He's been great. He's acclimated very, very well. I would say that that's really impressed me about Liverpool this season too. Is when he first came in, I was like, man, this guy, I don't know about him. Like, we might have just spent a ton of money from Monaco to bring in a guy that's going to be a squad rotation guy, but he's really, really locked down that starting position. But guys, Eredivisie, we're going to get back to that. Ajax champions, deserved champions. We all kind of agree on that. So shout out to them. Shout out to Ten Hag for getting that squad whipped into shape. Shout out to the late, great Johan Cruyff as well for leaving his legacy and making this club something that a lot of youngsters in Amsterdam strive to play for. But guys, we're going to shift to our last topic here. We're going to end the show. Travis Ade is kind of licking his lips over here. We're gonna jump into some MLS action. Guys, we haven't talked about a lot of MLS coming up lately.
This is my favorite segment.
Shocked over here. But we haven't talked about MLS very much because we want to be more well-rounded. We've heard your criticism. We're all MLS background guys, so it's easy for us to talk about. But the show is not supposed to be easy for us. It's supposed to be something that challenges us and makes us look into multiple facets in multiple leagues. So it's been about a 2-week break since we've done a specific MLS segment. So Travis Ade is over here smiling.
He's jonesing. He's twitching.
Yeah, he's itching for some MLS. So we had some midweek games yesterday. We're filming this on a Thursday night. So we got FC Dallas away at LAFC on the TV right now. We're watching that one. Looks like Adoma Diamande just came on for LAFC for Christian Ramirez.
Also, Barrios got knocked out, essentially.
Mikey B.
Tyler Miller came in and kneed him in the face.
Yeah, it was not good. But
goalkeeper union, baby. It was a clean challenge.
We're watching that right now. Guys, before we jump into midweek games, I want to talk about what most interested me this week in MLS, and that is New England Revolution. They heard all of the criticisms from the fans. They heard all the critiques. They not only fired Brad Friedel, who is the head coach, who he went 2-8-2 in his tenure this season with the Revolution and did not make playoffs last year for the half a season that he was there. They fired Mike Burns, their GM, who was the guy responsible for constructing that roster, who a lot of people, myself included, have thought that roster is subpar in talent. And you know, what is the number one remedy for terrible roster building and terrible coaching in this league? Bring in Bruce Arena. And he kind of fixes pretty much everything there. He's going to be the GM of the club as well as the head coach. He's rumored to bring in from Sam Stejskal, saying he's bringing in Kurt Analfo, former LA Galaxy head coach and front office man, to run some front office operations there. And they've also, according to Paul Tenorio and Sam Stejskal on Twitter, said that they're looking to bring in Richie Williams, who's the head coach of Luton United right now, which is, of course, the USL pro team that feeds into DC United. They're looking to bring him in on the coaching staff too. Guys, I'm excited about this Arena hire. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it'll be a challenging job for him, and I'm excited to see what he can do. We saw a little bit when he took over at LA, kind of rescuing a club. LA definitely, I think, a bigger club than New England, but they both have a long history in this league, and I'm excited to see what Arena can do up in Boston.
Yeah, I don't like the guy. I think he's good, but I just don't like him. He annoys me. I think he's soft, and his voice irritates the living daylights out of me. I couldn't play for the guy. Like, every time he'd come to a halftime talk, it'd just be like...
Well, they asked him, I thought it was...
Undoubtedly, he's going to be great, but...
Yeah, they asked him, they said, is this kind of a redemption job for you? And he's like, I don't have anything to be redeemed from. But of course, they were talking about the U.S. failure in Trinidad and Tobago.
As much as I dislike the guy, that's really not his failure. That was Klinsmann's failure. He was brought in, and it was too little, too late.
He was a cleanup guy.
Fighting a losing battle.
He tried to bring in his boys to solve the problem, and it didn't work because they're all old and ancient.
They told him to vacuum the room, and they handed him a mop. So I really don't understand.
I like that one.
Wow.
I like that one.
How he's supposed to adequately clean up a mess that wasn't his, right? So I think he'll do great. I mean, when he was GM and head coach of the Galaxy, he was phenomenal. He, of course.
Who did he have on the roster?
I know, which is the same.
Is he going to get there, though?
Which is the same. Like, that's the thing that I think that, they got deep. The Crafts have deep pockets. I mean, they own one of the most successful NFL franchises in the country. And so it's not like they're, struggling for cash to bring in these players. And of course, we've heard rumors the past couple months about New England getting their own soccer-specific stadium downtown in Massachusetts, which would be a big get for them. And I think that Bruce Arena, they would not have hired him if they thought he was going to be a temporary solution. And he would not have taken the job unless he was promised a transfer budget.
Exactly. Yeah.
And full reins. So I think it's a great hire. I think it'll be a great match. He's always been a long admirer of Bill Belichick. So I think that's a match made in heaven for them to kind of pick each other's brains and all that stuff. So I think getting the winningest coach in Major League Soccer history back into the league as a head coach and a GM is a win-win for both parties.
Arena and Belichick, they're both lacrosse guys.
What?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
What a fun fact.
Yeah.
I think you're pulling that out of thin air.
Bruce Arena played lacrosse in college.
Oh, that's why he's an idiot.
Yeah. He's also a goalkeeper, so that might be part of it.
Oh, that just means he's crazy.
What's up, Burn?
Yeah, I play goalkeeper too. So.
Dude, he's not part of the union. There's no way.
He is part of it. Well,
it's not good enough.
He's not as much of the union as Jim Curtin is.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Did you know, Travis?
No, probably not.
He also coached D3 soccer.
He did.
He coached D3? Who did he coach?
Puget Sound.
Yep.
I've played against them. All right.
So have I.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow. I hate to.
They're really good in Seattle, not very good in Texas.
Yeah.
I hate to break.
Too hot down
I
here.
hate to break up your Division III football's finest.
How many senior games did you register in D3, Mason?
How many podcasts have you hosted?
Oh, fair enough. All right.
Every away leg.
Hey, vamos!
Does that really count? Does that really count, though? He hasn't hosted every away leg. I've hosted a couple away legs.
I've hosted a fair amount.
He did host-
four
he
producer
hosted
Chris?
it.
PC's
Four?
hold up
Okay.
4.
He hosted in your absence also.
That's fair. But
Yeah.
was it as good? Listen, we
Great.
got to check.
5,
The,
yeah.
we gotta,
I had
Chris,
fun.
yeah.
It was my debut, so
we got to check the numbers on that one. But guys, other news around the league before
no
we
VAR.
jump into these. There's no VAR on the Box Radio podcast. Before
you said review the numbers.
okay,
There's VAR on the away leg. We're just better.
it's called post-mortem suspension. After retroactive suspension.
Post-mortem? What? Is someone going to die on the podcast tonight?
No, it's the horse over there in the corner.
We might.
Oh, the horse is dead. All right, move on. Whipping it, Sil.
We say that probably once a week. So, guys, Columbus Crew, more news in MLS this week before we jump into the midweek games. Columbus Crew acquired David Accam from Philly for buku allocation money. And, of course, they have then now, of course, done what every team has done with David Accam the past 2 years. They have flipped him to Nashville. So, basically, he's on loan to Columbus for the rest of the year. And then starting January 1st, 2020, he's dealt over to Nashville for $50K in allocation money. So just kind of letting our viewers know who that is. If you don't know who David Accam is, Google him, watch his highlights for Chicago Fire. And at the beginning of this season for Philadelphia, he had an injury last year, so he wasn't very effective, but one of the most dangerous wide players in this league the past couple of years. So keep an eye out on how Nashville's building their squad with, of course, former MLS Cup winning head coach Colin Clark at the helm and Ian Ayre, former Liverpool GM, in the back room. So, guys, midweek games. We're going to start with Mr. A-Day. Mr. A-Day, what was the midweek game that you watched?
Oh, real quick. Back to Columbus. They did also just ink Zardes to a DP contract.
They did. He's getting that money.
Yep. I highlighted TFC and DC United 0-0 draw, but Toronto FC
Travis Carmichael, shut up.
Toronto FC had 36 shots, which was the third most
35.
Whatever. Third most all time in the league and the most all time without registering a goal. They had 13 shots on goal. Bill Hamid stood on his head. He had 11 saves.
Greatest American goalkeeper. Come on, you Bill Hamid.
No, he's greatest in the world. He's World 11.
Come on.
World 11 goalkeeper, Bill Hamid.
I mean, Peter Vermees would pick him on his World 11 squad because he's the best coach ever.
You're an idiot.
We're not playing Ultimate Team here. Back to it. Toronto had 70% possession, 700 passes. They really just didn't have anything clinical in front of goal. without Josie up top.
So did they win the game because they had more possession?
No.
Oh,
no.
okay, cool. I'm just checking. That's a worthless stat.
Nothing.
Thank you.
Nothing. No, I'm saying that.
Thank you. No,
He's just
I
trying
get
to-
it. No, I get it. I know.
You know.
I'm making a bigger point.
You
I
know,
got
trying
it.
to
you know
make the
me.
listener
I hate
well-informed.
possession.
I know.
Possession doesn't mean anything.
Y'all
We
are
kept the ball.
stupid.
Huh,
Yeah.
Great.
I love
Yeah,
possession.
whatever. They didn't do anything with it.
They had a lot of possession. Guess what? They tied 0-0. They were
Fair
just
enough.
as good as the other team that didn't have the ball a lot.
Fair enough.
So TFC 1 point out of their last 9 available in their
Yikes.
past 3 home games.
Yikes.
So they're a little bit on the ropes.
Pozuelo cooling
it's-
down a little bit.
No,
Desperately need Josie back.
Yeah, I don't even. I don't even agree with the Pozuelo comment. I agree with more with what Ade said. Like
It was a question.
they're missing Josie.
Yeah.
Like Jordan Hamilton, he's okay, right? He's not Josie Altidore.
But even Hamilton got dropped in favor of Akinola, but he's gone with the U20s now.
And that's my thing too. Is like Akinola's not a striker. He's more of a winger to me.
I mean,
Yeah, and they-
Hamilton
they
did
threw him
miss
up top.
Hamilton did miss a sitter in this game. I mean, he hit Hamid from about 8 yards.
Yeah, I mean
So-
they're really missing that leadership up front. And I know Travis Carmichael is not a huge Josie Altidore guy, but like I think still, and Ade, feel free to disagree with me on this too. I think Altidore's. You've seen why he's still the best striker in the pool for the national team.
Come on.
Yeah,
on.
he's definitely close to the end of his national career.
Not the best striker in the pool.
But yeah, Toronto is definitely missing him.
Travis,
and
who's better?
Jordan Morris.
desperately wanting him
Jordan
back.
Morris has played almost exclusively on the wing for Greg Berhalter because he's not a natural finisher.
I'd play him up front. I like him better.
Okay,
My opinion.
Well, both of them are injured now, so
yeah, it's moot.
I mean, Jossie Zardes looks pretty good. Just give him 85 chances. He might get one.
give me Bobby Wood and Andrew Wooten and
Andrew Wooten, wow.
Yikes. Does Terrence Boyd get a shout? No, he doesn't even play for Toronto.
I want the Iceman.
Abe Thompson.
Stoppage time, Abe.
What a shame he never got a call up.
Gosh. And then former Toronto FC man, NFC Dallas man, Andrew Wiedemann. He's my other favorite Andrew W. So
Who also did play for Toronto FC.
that's what I said. Is there an
yeah.
echo in here?
Man, he loses points. Your
Man, I'm
FIFA ranking just went down for not paying attention to the question.
I'm Dallas till I die. I'm watching.
We got to
the
do
game.
that still. We gotta give him his FIFA ranking eventually. Yeah. Anyway,
No, it's not listening to the question. It's not listening to this bozo over here speak.
ask the question. You're right.
No, he didn't ask the question.
He did ask the question.
It was
I didn't.
it was
I
a
made a
comment.
Okay, I'm sorry, Professor.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks very much. Travis Carmichael,
Yeah.
midweek action. What you got?
I watched Atlanta versus Vancouver. Atlanta appears to be back. Martinez is definitely back. He scored the game-winning goal. They won 1-0. I mean, it was a penalty to be fair, but he struck it super sweet. Penalty all day long, gets taken down in the box. And then he did his little jump and his little curve run up, but instead of the hop finish, he just absolutely smashed it in the corner. But it was interesting because Atlanta were away from home. They were playing at BC Place.
Yeah.
And they did not have Barco. So it was interesting to see them kind of struggle and kind of pull it out. And they should have had 2 goals. I mean, the goalkeeper for Vancouver, what's his name?
Maxime Crepeau.
Crepeau made a triple save that was unbelievable.
I think they showed it on SportsCenter. I know the
Yeah,
ESPN, it was all
unbelievable.
over the ESPN app. But Trav, the biggest thing for me about this game, and I don't know if you agree with me or not, is it's not the fact that Atlanta won. It's the fact that it's their 3rd shutout in a row.
Yeah.
And for a team that was bleeding goals under Frank de Boer, I think that this is a testament. And it's been with different personnel. So they sat Parkhurst out for this one.
They did, and they looked
he's
good.
been their rock. And yeah, Florentine Pogba made his
Pogba
MLS
looks
debut.
very good.
And I loved it. I thought he was great.
He's very good. I think it's one of the things he just got to get used to the league. He's got to play consistently. So he looked very good next to Gonzalez Perez.
Yeah, Miles Robinson sat out too, which if you asked Frank de Boer over the past couple weeks, Miles Robinson's been like his favorite player, like great passer of the ball, phenomenal defensive player. So if I'm Atlanta, I think Michael Parkhurst doesn't even make my starting back line anymore. I think
with how the 2 center backs played, I agree with you. Guess who's still playing at left back, baby?
Breck Shea.
Breck Shea.
So that's kind of the thing I wanted to ask you guys about this game too. So Florentine Pogba.
Yep.
So before we get there, so Miles Robinson's looked great this year
Yep.
as a center back for Atlanta United, right? Parkhurst looked okay. He's 35. So
Yeah.
there's not much left in the tank. He's probably a guy you want to start phasing out of the starting 11. So if you have Robinson and Gonzalez Perez as their center backs,
Right.
why can't Florentine Pogba play left back? Because Breck Shea has not looked convincing.
I disagree. Breck Shea has actually been pretty good. I think Breck Shea has been better than we thought he's been.
I think he's been about par for where I thought he would be.
Look, I mean, there's a lot of games you can rotate, but the reality is that you're gonna have to play Breck, and Breck has done better than I thought he would. So, he's been on the line for all 3 games for the shutout, so might as well keep him.
I wish Breck would have done better in the league. He had a hot start, and
he went to Europe and struggled, and
when you flip off your own fans in Barnsley,
it's
not good PR right there for you, Mr. Shea.
Yeah, he's definitely fallen from grace a little bit, and I think now he's just an average MLS utility player.
Feels like he's been playing for like 15 years though.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
28.
He's only 28.
I don't know.
Good
He's
Lord.
28. Yeah.
I mean, he signed for Dallas when he was 19.
Yeah, Dane Brecken Shea, the College Station native. But I find this interesting. So Bobby Warshaw played with MLS analyst, works for MLSsoccer.com, played with Breck Shea. And he said, out of all the guys he played with in Dallas, Breck Shea was a baller.
Yeah, Breck can play. There was no doubt about
and
that. Breck could ever play.
But listen, this is the part that'll surprise you.
I remember this.
So not only could Breck play, Bobby Warshaw said that Breck Shea was one of the hardest working guys that he's ever played with. The guy that loved the game the most, the guy that was putting in the extra hours, the guy that would sacrifice and knew what it meant to be a professional, which I think if you didn't know Breck Shea and you kind of looked at him from an outside perspective, that would not be the case if you thought about Breck Shea's career.
Yeah, I think that's what gets him in trouble though is it's unfair for him, but it's that perception that the fans have.
Yeah.
So the fans give him stick, and eventually you're going to get tired of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
But to be fair, I mean, we've always known he works hard and he's very good and he's had all the ability in the world. I think just going over to Europe took too much away from his confidence. I think he went too early.
So, Mr. Ade, question for you. As our MLS resident genius, Atlanta United, playoff team or not? And what's their ceiling?
Yeah, I think they're a playoff team. It took a little bit for De Boer to figure it out and to figure out how to navigate this league. But I think they're a playoff team. Their ceiling, I'm not sure if they can climb back up to the top and sustain this streak. They are only 4 points off the lead.
Yeah.
However,
they'll make playoffs, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely a playoff team now.
The East is so wide open. I mean,
yeah, and it just depends. DC hasn't been playing great. Philadelphia and Atlanta are hot, so it's a toss up in the East. But
I mean, the East is wide open compared to the West.
Team, yeah.
Yeah, guys, I think we got a lot of looking forward to do with Atlanta United. I think that they've kind of turned the page a little bit, and Frank De Boer has earned a little bit more respect going forward as manager. Let's kind of keep an eye on that out east. But the game of the week that I really like, so of course we had Seattle versus Orlando, which Seattle won 2-1 in that one, which I think a lot of us expected Seattle to win that home game, which didn't really interest me a whole lot because we all expected them to win. The big thing that I really enjoyed, the midweek game that I tuned into a lot, was Portland versus Houston in Houston. Houston's been on a roll. They're third place in the West right now. They look really, really good. Portland is rebounding from a slump that they've had going forward. But guys, I really, really think that Portland looked better in this game, and they're starting to figure it out. And more importantly, in this 1-1 draw, Manotas scored, which he's continued his good run of form as a number 9 in Houston and has proved that he's worth every penny that he might get over the summer if he leaves on a transfer. But Brian Fernandez looks like the real deal for Portland, the new DP.
Oh, yeah. Let it be known I called it on this very here pod. Scored 12 minutes into his debut.
But he called it too. He on the bench, he looked at Gio Savareso. Gio said, "Are you ready?" He said, "I'm going to score." And, of course, we got to give mad props to that dime of a pass played by Seba Blanco, but I mean, you got to put it in the back of the net too.
Yeah, but I mean,
you got to finish the job.
The biggest thing for me is the movement off the ball, the runs he made off the back shoulder of the defenders. He checked in to take the center backs away. He pulled out all the way wide behind Beasley because he knew Beasley was gone, and then made that diagonal run across. So I think the movement off the ball is the biggest thing, and he's going to unlock so much for Portland.
Yeah, I think they've finally figured it out. I think.
Hey, he's no Lucas Milano.
No, stop it.
He's a guy you can play on the wing. He's a guy you can play up front, because I like the tandem of Valeri and Mbobisi up front. I think you put him on the right wing, you have Blanco on the left, and then Chara and either Paredes or Flores in the middle there for him. And I think Portland's kind of figured it out. I mean, Savarese has gone back to what has been successful for them in the past. They sit in, they absorb pressure, and then they spring you on the counter with their skill players. So a fun team to watch here. Houston, I think it's a disappointment that they got the draw at home. As much as I dislike Houston because I'm a diehard FC Dallas fan, I think you have to admit
You hate to see it.
They've had a great season. Manotas, Elise, and Rodriguez, they've all been a potent front three for them. Tomas Martinez has looked good. And then I think the shock player for Houston of the season has been Boniek Garcia in there in the center midfield. And then, of course, something to look out for in the next 10 years, the Boniek twins going and playing for Houston, their youth academy levels. They showed up last week in dressed to the best. They had the vests on and the dress shirts, and I think they're the cutest kids maybe in Major League Soccer, and definitely cult heroes. But guys, something to look out for here. So the West is a little bit more tight. I think it's a 4-horse race for Supporter Shield right now. Maybe LAFC edging everybody else out, but LAFC, Seattle, the Galaxy, and Houston are really the 4 top tier teams in the West. And in the East, it's just all up for grabs, guys. But that's pretty much all the time we have here, guys. Again, we want to thank our music partner, Sincerely Yours, on Spotify and iTunes. Guys, go listen to his stuff. It's really, really great. We enjoy using it on our podcast. And again, if you are a local businessman or artist, businesswoman in Austin or surrounding area, we would love to promote your creativity, your business on our podcast. Just please get at us. We would love to do that for you and love to partner with you. Easiest way to reach us is on our Twitter for any questions, comments, or reactions to the podcast or inquiries as well. Twitter is the B2B_radio. Instagram is box2box_radio. Facebook, again, guys, I know I'm beating a dead horse here. Really easy to remember. Box2Box Radio. And easiest way to reach us is at our email, 90min@box2boxradio.com. Thanks for listening to us on all your streaming platforms, guys. We're on Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and recently on YouTube. Hopefully getting up and running on Pandora and SoundCloud here pretty soon. But guys, again, let us know what you want to hear. We haven't done a mailbag in about a week and a half. We're waiting on some questions for you guys. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear your thoughts on the podcast. We want this to be a show for you guys, not just 3 guys sitting around talking what they want to hear about. We want it to be interactive. We want to know your thoughts and opinions. But guys, that's again all the time we have for this episode. We'll see you again on Monday with a brand new podcast coming up at the beginning of the week. For all of us here at Box to Box Radio Podcast, I've been Mason. We got Travis Carmichael, Travis 8A, and producer Chris. Guys, enjoy your weekend. As always, watch soccer, tweet about soccer, live soccer. We love you guys. See you guys on Monday.